a child killer. A woman killer. I cannot wait until somebody inflicts that harm on you.
A red SUV plowed through a Christmas parade. It didn't slow down. It drove straight into children, grandmothers, a marching band. 6 people were killed, over 60 injured, bodies thrown in every direction.
Darrell Brooks was convicted yesterday of 6 counts of intentional homicide and 61 counts of reckless endangerment, plus 9 other charges. 6 people were killed.
The driver was out on bail. Just days earlier, he ran over the mother of his child with the same car. His bail? $1,000. The district attorney called it a mistake, but that mistake cost 6 lives. And the real question isn't how this happened. It's how many people looked away before it did. This isn't just about one violent man. It's about a system that saw the red flags and let him go anyway. A man with a long record of violence was released again and again until one day he didn't just hurt someone. He slaughtered a crowd. This is episode 4 of The System Failed, a Crime Curve series exposing what happens when power shields itself and the public pays the price. When courts, jails, and prosecutors ignore every warning sign until it's too late. This is the case of Darrell Brooks, a man who should have been behind bars, but was allowed to drive straight into a massacre. Darrell Brooks was arrested for running over his ex-girlfriend, the mother of his child, in a gas station parking lot. She told police he punched her in the face, that she feared for her life, that she was scared for their son.
We went up that hill, we drove around, me and him got into an altercation. He hit me in my eye, I jumped out of the car, walked and found my way back by Frame Park.
What did the Milwaukee County District Attorney's Office do? They set his bail at $1,000. He paid it and walked out. 5 days later, he drove through a Christmas parade. Let that sink in. A man out on bail for attempted vehicular assault using the same car was free. No GPS monitor, no restrictions, no follow-up. Darrell Brooks wasn't hiding. He was right there, spiraling further into rage and instability, and the people in charge just let it happen. Court records, arrest warrants, domestic violence reports, social media rants. Brooks didn't mask who he was. He broadcasted it. But the courts still gave him freedom. Again and again. And it wasn't just one oversight. It was a string of decisions made by judges, prosecutors, and officials who had every chance to intervene. They saw the danger. They just didn't act. What many don't know is that Brooks was already a registered sex offender in Nevada. In 2006, he was convicted of statutory sexual seduction after impregnating a 15-year-old girl. He fled the state and skipped registration. There was an active warrant out for him for over a decade. He had more than 20 arrests across multiple states. Battery, strangulation, firearm possession, resisting arrest. The signs weren't subtle, they were screaming. And then came the social media. Posting as Matt Boyd Fly, Brooks rapped about violence, revenge, and taking people out. In one video, shot just weeks before the attack, the same red SUV was parked behind him, like a warning hiding in plain sight. November 21st, 2021. A small town in Wisconsin prepares for its annual Christmas parade. Main Street is lined with families, kids wrapped in scarves, holding candy canes. A marching band plays. Dance teams perform. Grandmothers from the Dancing Grannies group waved to the crowd. It was joy, until it wasn't. At exactly 4:39 p.m., a red Ford Escape speeds past the barricades. There's no hesitation, no horn, no swerving, just acceleration. It plows through the crowd, children first, then the dancing grannies, then the band. Then, anyone in its path. The SUV doesn't stop. It doesn't slow. It just keeps going. Bodies are launched into the air. Shoes, instruments, and strollers are scattered across the pavement. Screams replace music. Parade goers run for their lives as the vehicle disappears down the street. In just 60 seconds, the parade is a crime scene. 6 people were killed, over 60 were injured. Some were children as young as 8. One of them, Jackson Sparks, was marching with his baseball team. He died of brain trauma 2 days later.
Walking through the growing memorial for the 6 killed in the Waukesha Parade tragedy.
Kids are supposed to play. They're not supposed to be.
His brother Tucker was also hit, sustaining a fractured skull and internal bleeding. A nurse who happened to be in the crowd said it looked like a war zone, bodies everywhere, she recalled. Like a tornado tore through Main Street. Witnesses said they made eye contact with the driver. He looked straight at them, then accelerated. Darrell Brooks was arrested later that night.
Hands up! Put your hands where I can see them! Whoa! Hands up!
Found hiding in a stranger's backyard, barefoot, shirtless, and pretending he was waiting for an Uber.
Hands up! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Do it now!
Police didn't need to chase him. The SUV was parked in a driveway nearby, still warm. They found blood on the front hood, pieces of hair, a dented grill. When they questioned Brooks, he said he didn't know what they were talking about. Then, he fell asleep in the interrogation room. When the footage was released to the public, America asked, how was this man even free? His face became the face of a system that refuses to listen to warning signs. A man with more than 15 prior convictions. A man out on $1,000 bail. A man who just committed one of the deadliest parade attacks in U.S. history. And the excuses from officials. The bail was too low. It slipped through. It was a paperwork error, but 6 families didn't lose their loved ones to a clerical mistake. They lost them to negligence. In the days after the Waukesha Parade attack, America was in shock. Darrell Brooks was charged with 77 criminal counts, including 6 counts of first-degree intentional homicide. Each charge carried a mandatory life sentence. He pleaded not guilty. And then, he fired his lawyers. He chose to represent himself in court. What followed was one of the most disturbing and surreal trials in recent memory. Brooks appeared in court shirtless at times.
Mr. Brooks be removed from the courtroom due to repeated interruptions and disruption with the court.
He argued with the judge. He claimed he was a sovereign citizen, insisting that the court had no jurisdiction over him. He filed nonsensical motions written in red ink. He demanded to be addressed by his full name, but then objected to hearing it. He cross-examined the very people he had injured or whose family members he had killed. One mother sobbed on the stand as Brooks questioned her about the moment her child was hit.
You're a child killer. A woman killer. I cannot wait until somebody inflicts that harm on you.
He showed no remorse. He cried in court, then immediately shifted to smirking. He whispered to himself under his breath, then burst into laughter at random.
Can we pull up Exhibit 5 for the witness, please?
He turned his back to the judge mid-sentence. He covered his face with binders. He removed his shirt and refused to participate, forcing the judge to move him to a separate courtroom where he could be muted when disruptive. He pulled out a laminated copy of the Constitution and waved it at the jury like a weapon, accusing the court of violating his natural rights. He asked witnesses irrelevant questions. He objected to his own statements. He stared down grieving family members. To the public, it was a circus. To the victims, it was a second trauma. Courtroom spectators broke down crying. Reporters described it as unlike anything they'd ever seen. One Waukesha resident said it felt like a mockery of justice, watching a man who destroyed lives treat the courtroom like a stage. But the justice system allowed it.
I think he was able to do it. I just don't think he wanted to. I just think this is all part of his charade. This referring to himself in the third person, trying to distract him or detract himself, I should say, from the events, taking absolutely no responsibility. It's the act of a narcissistic coward Those words have been used here today, and nothing could be further from the truth.
Because technically, he had the right. So the families had to sit there, day after day, watching the man who killed their loved ones mock the very system that freed him. In October 2022, the trial ended. Guilty on all counts.
Jury here today, the court will enter judgments of conviction based upon the verdicts on all 76 counts.
The judge sentenced Darrell Brooks to life in prison without the possibility of parole, plus over 700 additional years. But even with the conviction, the outrage didn't fade. People wanted answers. Why was his bail only $1,000? The Milwaukee County District Attorney admitted their mistake, said it was regrettable, but nothing changed. The DA kept his job. No judge was removed. No major reforms were passed. And when reporters asked why Brooks was free, even after trying to kill the mother of his child, no one had an answer. Because the truth is, he never should have been out. This wasn't just a man who snapped. It was a system that saw every warning sign and handed him the keys anyway. Darrell Brooks didn't slip through the cracks. He walked right through an open door, a door the justice system held wide open, despite every red flag, every warning, every chance to stop him. He ran over a woman, got out days later, then ran over a parade. 6 people dead, dozens wounded, and still, no one lost their job. No laws were changed. No system was fixed. This is what it looks like when accountability dies behind a desk and justice arrives too late, or not at all. This is episode 4 of The System Failed, a Crime Curve series exposing what happens when power shields itself and the public pays the price. We'll see you here next Thursday with a new episode. Thanks for watching.